What else is new? Our soft, poorly coached New York Jets that have been riddled with penalties now the past few weeks suffer yet another heartbreaking loss, this time by a score of 26-21 at home to the Seattle Seahawks. A complete embarrassment at the Meadowlands. We'll get into all of that and much more all here on a post-game edition of NY Filet Jets Talk.
Jets, Jets, let's go.
Jets wide receiver Wesley Walker. Wesley, how you doing today? ESPN writer Mr. Rich Cimini, Jets reporter for The Athletic, Mr. Zach Rosenblatt, Hall of Famer and Jets legend Mr. Marty Lyons.
Your host, Connor Law.
I don't even know what to say. I don't. I thought it was bad when I came on here last week. Again, the Jets lost to the Colts 29-28. Now I really don't know what to say. I mean, what a joke of a performance. Penalties. 12 penalties from the New York Jets today. It is the same undisciplined play. 12 penalties for 83 yards. It's the same story every single week. Penalties. Period. Literally, that is what happened today. There were a lot of positives, especially in the first quarter. I think that was the best quarter of football I've seen the Jets play all season long, which isn't really hard to do. Bar wasn't set very high entering today, but still, I thought that was the best first quarter this team has played this season. And to go out and to blow that game is absolutely insane. The Jets deserve to win that game. If they were a disciplined team, they would have won that game. And I'm not mad because it matters. I know the Jets aren't making the playoffs. I was still rooting for them to make the playoffs entering today, but I knew it wasn't happening. This is just bad football to watch. Like, if the Jets are going to struggle like this, I want to see young stars play well. I want them to use Isaiah Davis more, who had an incredible game today. He got in the end zone for his first time this season. The ground, he had 1 carry for 4 yards, but in the receiving game where he went off 3 catches, 28 yards, set the Jets up to convert on that 4th down on the final possession. So if you're going to do this, put the young stars in. I am tired of watching Aaron Rodgers play quarterback. I know Tyrod Taylor isn't much of a younger option, but the overthrown footballs, the miscues on offense, I am sick and tired of watching it every week. Put Tyrod out on the field. It can't be much worse. It really can't. We all know you're going to move on from Rodgers at the end of the season. We all know, Woody's going to want Rodgers out of here. And I'm sorry, but if one person could sit here, I want to get your thoughts in the chat, but there is no way Rodgers deserves to be back next season. I don't see how people can look me in the eye and say Aaron Rodgers has done a good job as quarterback of the New York Jets this season. I'd rather have Tyrod Taylor as my starter next year than Aaron Rodgers. That's just my opinion. The first half, Rodgers looked like, the bye really rejuvenated him. He was moving the ball great, 2 touchdowns. Thought he looked incredible in the first half, quite frankly. I'm not going to take that away from him, but the way he finished his day, 21 of 39, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, it just wasn't pretty. Breece Hall had 2 fumbles. He fumbled in the first quarter. Then he fumbled again towards the end of the game. I think at the end of the third quarter that was costly. I know he's injured. He had 12 carries, 60 yards, 5 yards per carry. He was averaging a lot per carry. I don't know why they didn't feed him the football more. It's just he has to hold on to six fumbles now for Breece Hall. Insane. 6 fumbles for Breece Hall. Braylon Allen, a dud. Well, what else is new? Braylon Allen, dud. I mean, he's had 2 good games this season. I'm tired of people telling me right now that Braylon Allen is a solid running back 2 in this league, because he's not. You're judging that off the Titans game, period. It's the only game you're looking at. If you tell me Braylon Allen is Breece Hall and Braylon Allen are a top 1-2 punch in this league. That you're only judging it off one game, the Titans game. That's it. It's just so sad to watch this team. Someone like Rodgers, too, is just such a legend. And he comes here to New York, and he's basically blowing up his career. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm retiring next season after this season for 2 reasons. First, my health. Second, if he spends another season here, he's going to ruin his legacy. Because he clearly cannot move. He can't do anything anymore. And it's so sad. It's Brett Favre all over again. It is literally Brett Favre all over again, except the thing is, Brett Favre was at least showing really promising play until he got injured. Rodgers hasn't shown us anything with the exception of the first half today, the second half of the Houston game, and the Week 3 game against the Patriots. He hasn't shown us anything else. 34 games now without a 300-yard game. It's just insane, and it's, like I said, it's sad to watch. Overthrowing guys like Devontae Adams, and I'm tired of people going out here on Twitter, saying it's Tay's fault that he didn't catch those footballs. I thought Devontae had a great game. 5 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Garrett had an okay day, 5 for 41. Conk, 4 for 32. Isaiah Davis, like I said, 328. Braylon, 2 of 16 out of the backfield. I think the story of today kind of, start with a bit of a positive outlook after we kind of really summed up today's performance. First quarter, the special teams were on. First off, they take advantage of Laviska Shenault on the Seahawks, who was returning the kicks. He muffed the first 3 kickoffs of the game. First off, let's give it up for Niawanu. Niawanu, this is someone who's been on the Jets practice squad since September. Yes, since September. And he just saw his first in-game action with the team today. And guess what he did? Well, he forced a fumble on a kickoff, and he took a 90-yard kick return to the house. That's what he's did. And he's been on our practice squad since September. An all-pro kick returner. Get Xavier Gibson out of there next game. I want to see Niawanu returning punts as well. Get Xavier Gibson out of – I'm fine with if he's the second man on the kick return unit, but I need Niawanu returning punts next week. Next week in Miami against the Dolphins, there is no reason why he does not deserve to return punts as well, be on the kicking unit and special teams. He had an incredible performance today right off the practice squad. Incredible. And I appreciate you guys all tuning in. I see your questions in the chat. We are going to get to them shortly after I rattle off the rest of this horrendous performance. Everyone smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Appreciate all the support. All you diehards tuning in despite this despicable season and what the Jets have done to us. Insane. Awanu, like I said, no reason he should not be returning punts next week as well. I thought the Williams brothers yet again had an incredible performance. Quinnen created a lot of pressure, I noticed early, and Quincy had a sack, and he was just wrecking the game overall. 4 tackles, 3 assists. DJ Reed, before he came out, he was doing okay. 4 tackles, 3 assists, with the exception of that deep Metcalf catch. But DJ Reed's 5'9", 5'8", so it's going to be hard for him to get up there and contest against DK Metcalf, who I think is, let's see his height, I think he's 6'3" or 6'4". 6'4", and it's hard for someone like DJ Reed to go up and try to contest him. Reed's obviously 5'9". You want to call and voice your opinion on today's dismantling, heart-wrenching, whatever you want to call it, loss. You can do so by clicking the pinned comment in the chat. Appreciate all your support. Jamie and Sherwood, 4 tackles. MC2, 3 tackles. He got burned a couple times, though. Sauce, 3 tackles. Ended up having an okay day. He had a great red zone pass breakup on Metcalf. Metcalf did catch a deep one on him, though, but he made up for that in the end zone. The great pass breakup on Metcalf. Isaiah Oliver, 3 tackles. Michael Clemens, I thought, had an okay day, 2 tackles. He wasn't a complete liability. He was better than normal. Ashton Davis, 2 tackles. McDonald, 2 tackles and 2 sacks. Great performance out of Will McDonald, who hasn't had a sack in over a month. He goes out, gets 2. Now he's on double digits on the season. Good for him. I'm happy for him. I'm rooting for him. I'm happy he's doing great things now. Double digits through the Jets' first 12 games of the season. Happy for him. Chuck Clark, 2 tackles. He got a PI call. Reddick, 2 tackles. Should have had a sack or 2. He had a nice stop in the backfield on one of the run plays, but he had Geno wrapped up on. Geno basically had all day on some of these plays, and Reddick tried getting him down on one of them, and he wrapped him up, and Geno broke through. Reddick had an okay performance, especially from what we've seen from him overall this season. Tony Adams came off after being benched from last week. He got hurt, I think, today. Oh, no, that was Eccles who got hurt. My bad. Tony Adams, he did not get hurt today. I was thinking of Brandon Eccles there. He had a tackle and 2 assists. Jazz Surratt had a great tackle. Let's see, who else do we have? Quantez Stiggers, who came in, and on his second snap this season, it's a PI call, as the frickin' Seahawks went for it on 4th down. Brutal from him, but he ends up, I think, holding Metcalf short that forced 4th down. The Jets, that was a play I want to get into. What an absolute joke. 4th and 1. And the Seahawks go for it like they did. Let's look at the Seahawks stats when they went for it on 4th down today. They went for it twice. They went 1 of 2. 3rd down, they were only 4-13. So the stats don't tell the full story, but Seahawks basically got their way almost every time they went for whether it was converting on 3rd or 4th down. That last 4th down conversion was insane. Geno Smith, he's trying to make a play. He's passing, and he tries pump faking. He loses the ball. It was called a fumble on the field. Jamie Sherwood recovers the fumble, takes it into opposing territory, and it's freaking Quinnen Williams. So don't get me wrong, he had a good game today, but lining up in the Seahawks neutral zone, I am okay. I'm not gonna go crazy if it's for example, Devontae Adams had an offensive PI call, and that would have been a huge catch to start the second half. I didn't go crazy on him for it because first he was trying to make a play. So I'm like, all right, I'm not cool with that. But it's the mental mistakes that get on me that just go to show week in and week out how poorly coached this team is. The mental mistakes that just goes to show how poorly coached this team is. Quinnen Williams lining up in the neutral zone. Carter Warren lining up on the defender. Leonard Taylor III, when it was at the goal line for Seattle, literally lining up on top of, I think, AJ Barner, AJ Barner, the tight end for Seattle. It's the mental mistakes that are going to kill me. It's the same. Like I said, I'm okay if you want to pick up a PI call here and there, but it's, neutral zone infraction, stuff like that, lining up in the opposing. It's just, God, so disappointing to go out and watch the same poorly coached team that committed 86 yards in penalties today. Literally gave the Seahawks anything they wanted. The Seahawks were essentially handing the Jets the game. Jets were dominating to start the game. The Seahawks handed it to us. Jets said, no, it's okay. We'll just give you 86 free yards and do this and do that. It was a joke. It was unfortunate to watch. Pivot over to the Seahawks side of things before we take your questions in the chat. Appreciate you all sticking with us. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Like I said, really appreciate all your support. Geno Smith had a good game, I'd say. 20-31, 206 yards and a touchdown. I thought the Jets overall did a fine job of containing the rushing attack. I thought they did a better job of tackling, especially in the first half. First half, they held Seahawks to only 38 yards at the end of the day, though. Kenneth Walker did rip off some nice runs, 49 yards. Zach Charbonnet had a nice day, 4 for 28, touchdown. Overall, I think Seahawks had only 84 rushing yards today, which I thought it could have been a lot higher. So props to the Jets' rushing defense, who had a great first half and had an all right second half. So we're seeing some improvement, at least. I think that's my biggest takeaway. Jackson Smith and Najiba absolutely annihilated the Jets secondary today. He's special, though. I mean, he's such a great playmaker. He's so explosive. I think he has a bright future in this league, but there were a few plays I thought we could have picked up on, but there were just a few plays that Najiba made that I was like, wow, nothing you can really do there. Four receptions, 74 yards. DK Metcalf, who came out of the game at a point, he had 4 catches, 66 yards. Noah Fant, 3 of 26. Tyler Lockett, 3 of 16. AJ Barner got in the end zone. Seahawks first points, 2 catches for 14 yards. Zach Charbonnet, 2 catches, 13 yards. Kenneth Walker, 2 catches, -3 yards. So I guess my bottom line is Najiba really dug the Jets secondary into such a deep hole today, and that's what hurt them, because Jets run stuffing unit really did a great job of containing Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, but it was the secondary that continued to struggle. And I want to get your thoughts on this, guys. I do not like when it is third down and the Jets only send 4, because we see them sending 4. Geno Smith, whoever the quarterback is, Kyler Murray, we saw 2 weeks ago, Anthony Richardson, they literally have all days to sit back and go, and they get the first down anyways, even with the extra defender in the secondary. So I want to blitz basically every third down. That's my bottom line, because we clearly cannot create pressure with four pass rushers. So I want to blitz on third down, time in and time out, because that at least, gives the quarterback something to think about. They have all day when we send 4 on third down. So I want more blitz on third down. That's what I want to see the next few games. I thought Olu Fashion was a brick wall today. His first half number, I don't have the second half. His first half, though, 23 pass blocking snaps, and he had allowed 0 pressures. So a great overall game for Olu Fashion, who stepped in at left tackle, and he will be staying there for the rest of the season, as Tyron Smith was placed on injury reserve. But this team is 3-9. They're not making the playoffs. We knew that entering today. I was still rooting for them too, but now I don't know if they can get eliminated today. I don't think they can get I don't think they can get eliminated today. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong there, but I don't think they can get eliminated today because how bad the AFC is, but they're not making the playoffs. We all know that. So you have, like I mentioned earlier in the show, you have to pivot your focus to the young guys. I'm going to be watching a lot of Fashion the next 2 games. I want to see a lot more of Isaiah Davis out of the backfield. We saw Corley on that. Corley had a great reverse play, a creative play design that got us a few yards in the red zone. Isaiah Davis's touchdown was on a creative play design. He motioned from outside, kind of like an orbit play type, and he got in the end zone. So I want to see basically more of the creative play designs paired with giving the young bucks a chance to shine. That's what I'm really looking for to hone in on the next few games, as this team's playoff chances are now not officially but unofficially shot. So a very disappointing season for the Jets, 3-9, and I think the most anticipated season in Jets history. Boom, all goes down in flames. All goes down in flames. We appreciate you all sticking with us. You want to call into the show, pin comment in the chat to do so. Share your thoughts in the chat. I'm getting to your question shortly, but smash the like button. 114 of you guys are watching across all platforms, and we only have 9 likes. So everyone, be sure to smash that like button wherever you are watching. Appreciate all the continued support. John B, full cycle for Geno and Leonard Williams. Yeah, Leonard Williams, I meant to mention that. He picked up an interception on Aaron Rodgers. It was a pick 6, actually. That was on 3rd down. That was not great. And, yeah, Geno, his first time playing the Jets, I think, at MetLife Stadium. So, yeah, really a full circle moment for him. And I thought he did an okay job. 20-31, 206 yards, and a touchdown. It did hurt to see Leonard Williams, collect several. We see how many sacks did he finish his day with? 2 sacks as well as the pick 6. So Leonard Williams really stuck it to the Jets today. You see Williams embarrassed the offensive line. He was basically stat padding against them. 4 tackles, 3 for loss, 2 sacks, 1 interception. He was dominating. He stuck it to his former team today. He really was. I mean, every time there was a disruption, whether it was a run stuff, like you mentioned, the 3 tackles for loss, it was a sack. Leonard Taylor simply did everything. Leonard Williams, simply did everything on the defensive line for the Seattle Seahawks today. Penalties keep haunting this team, John B. Same story every week, and it's the undisciplined penalties, like I mentioned earlier. Undisciplined penalties that are going to kill me. BC defensive touchdown. The only thing that was missing was a fumble recovery. I think you're talking about Williams. Yeah, an incredible performance for him. BC 12 penalties. 1/4 of the Seattle's first downs came off of penalties. Yep, and it was all, if you noticed, on the 3rd and 4th down conversions, the Jets would somehow find a way to just shoot themselves in the foot. Somehow find a way, whether it was an illegal, offsides, an illegal motion, holding, pass interference. We saw they always found a way. When they were trying to get convert on 3rd or 4th down, they always found a way to just shoot themselves in the foot, and it's beyond disappointing. It is. To add salt, Rover, to add salt to the wounds of New England and Jackson loss, we don't improve our draft position. That's my worst nightmare, Rover, because I wanted either the Jets to win today and all the teams and a few of the teams we needed to win help our playoff odds. I wanted that to happen, or if the Jets were going to lose, I wanted all the other teams we needed to win to help our draft position. I wanted them to win. And, of course, it didn't go that way. Let me pull up Tankathon really quick. Let's see where the Jets sit. Tankathon has the Jets at 5. It looks like we did improve because we were at 7 entering today, Rover. Looks like I actually did improve. Let me pull this up on the screen here. Stand by. Here we go. It's up on the screen. Tankathon, here is our draft order. If the season were to end today, Jaguars, Raiders, Giants, Pats, Jets. Jets sit with the 5th overall pick behind New England, Giants, Raiders, and then the Jaguars. So if season end today, the Jets would have the 5th overall pick in this year's draft, and I think that's what a lot of us are going to pivot our focus to. I know a lot of people are going to root for losses. I physically can't root for my team to lose, so I'm going to root for them to win, but basically it's kind of a win-win. Obviously, it's not a win because this team has been a massive disappointment, but you have to always enjoy the wins. No matter when it comes in the season, you always have to enjoy a win, and then you lose. All right, you're a step closer to getting a Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders or something like that, trying to develop your next franchise quarterback. Before I keep it going with your questions, though, I'm going to do this because this season has been beyond disappointing. You guys have stuck with me through thick and thin. I'm going to go ahead, do you guys a favor. Appreciate if you guys drop some too, but I completely understand if you guys can't. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give 5 channel memberships. I really do appreciate all that you guys have done to help me and support my channel despite this beyond disappointing season. So 10 memberships are we'll get a little sound effect going here. All right, you hear your name called, you are now a channel member. BC, DLV_1 Jets Arm, Dracora, Nick Kramer, Hennessy Heisman, Ricky New York Live, Mr. Robert, Mr. K, JT, Michael Putham. Appreciate you guys, like I said, sticking with me despite this really, really rough and disappointing season that had sky-high expectations at the start. So like I said, appreciate you all sticking with me. See, we'll go back to your questions. If you want to, I appreciate if the super chats and stuff, you want to send one, just click the $sign. Like I said, appreciate all you guys have done. So I just wanted something I wanted to do for you guys here on the show. John B. Seattle was running 4th down like it was a gimme every time crazy. 4th down, 3rd down, everything. The Jets defense could not stop a nosebleed. Especially in the second half. Could not stop a freaking nosebleed. Seattle got their way doing everything. Literally, okay, you want to convert on 4th down? Here you go. You want to convert on 3rd down? Here you go. Jets defense was weak today, and I think it just goes to show how Robert Saleh first was not only made a scapegoat, but he was basically arguably the only reason this defense was having success, because now you look at someone like Ulbrich, who was the mastermind behind the defense all along. Defense is not the same without Saleh here. Defense is not the same with Saleh here. So, like I said, first off, Saleh was made a scapegoat. Second off, he's really the only one who could take credit for the defense's production. The way I've seen this Jets team go up in flames, especially from a defensive standpoint since Ulbrich took over, especially after today, I don't think he gets a DC job next year. I know I was on the fence on my pregame show with Matt this morning, but I don't think so. I don't know how a team looks at him and says, all right, the defensive mastermind head coach is gone, and it just so happens once he's gone, the defensive production dips tremendously. When all's said and done, I think he's a linebackers coach. Played linebacker in the league for the Falcons. He'll be a linebackers coach next season. Let's see. Joe Grana, penalties and soft lines on both sides of the ball, Connor. That is our Achilles heel, no matter who our QB and skill positions are. Penalties, I agree with. Soft lines, I thought the offensive line was... let me check how many sacks they allowed today. The Jets offensive line... They allowed 2 sacks. The Jets' offensive line allowed 2 sacks. I thought the offensive line wasn't terrible today. I liked that Olu was in there, and I thought Olu, like I said, had a great day. I mentioned that earlier on in the show. The defensive line, though, they couldn't, unless they were blitzing, they couldn't create any pressure. That's what made the Jets' defense so special last year. They were all able to create pressure regularly by sending four guys. Now the Jets are having to send 5, and even when they send 5, they're creating such minimal pressure. Even like I said, even if they send 5, they can still barely create any pressure. Austrian Jet fan Rogers is sadly done. He's way off. Yeah, he's not the same as he was. Like I said, in the first half, especially the first quarter, went to show that okay, the bye week maybe helped him. He was banged up. Now he looks like healthy prime Aaron Rodgers. Saw that all for 30 minutes, and also to kind of piggyback. The Seahawks are a good coach team by the youngest coach in the NFL in the name of Mike McDonald. The Seahawks went into halftime and made adjustments, and that's ultimately what won them the game. They made adjustments, and the Jets, we know they can't make halftime adjustments, so they were ahead, and I think they kind of sleepwalked in entering the third quarter there. And the Seahawks went out, they're a great coach team, and they made adjustments. That's what they did, and that's what ended up winning them the game. I do think they kind of handed the Jets the game, and the Jets handed it right back to them, but they won. They did win, and I think adjustments is which did it for them. Penalties, every high school football team has less. 86 yards. 86 penalty yards today. Number 1 Austrian Jet fan. Appreciate you sticking with us. 86. Let them do everything they want. No offensive creativity in the second half. I agree. The offensive creativity was at its peak in the first quarter where they ran those plays with Malachi Corley and Isaiah Davis. Then it just went back to the standard Nathaniel Hackett, Todd Downing. We're just going to do these, dump off screen plays and make our offense the most predictable in the league. That's what they did. And it hurt them. Because when they were mixing it up, running those gadget-type plays, it was working and it was throwing the Seahawks defense off. But they reverted back right to their old form. That's what they did today. Sign Owanu now. There's no reason Owanu should not be signed to the active roster by tomorrow morning, the latest. He needs to be returning punts, kicks, and he needs to be on every special teams unit. Izzy Abanikanda needs to be activated for the rest of the season. I want to see him. Interesting to see what they do with Brees, especially with his knee injury. Wonder if they find some way where they shut him down for the rest of the season. It's just disappointing. So disappointing. We're sitting here on December 1st Not only talking about the draft, but we're talking about a 3-9 start to the season. It's a joke. Insane. Rover. Silver lining, Garrett not worth $40 million, Sauce not worth $30 million, and Brees not worth $20 million. We save $30 million in salary per year. I would go far saying Garrett's not worth. I'm saying Garrett's not worth what he should be getting paid. I think he's a talented receiver. I just didn't think he had the best day. Sauce, I agree, he's not worth $30 million. Brees just needs to hold on to the football. He's such an elusive back. His vision has improved, and that was his one major weakness entering the season. Only one I can really fully agree with you there is Sauce. But I think Brees and Garrett, I want them to extend Brees and Garrett, not Sauce. And that's what I want them to do. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Appreciate you tuning in the chat. Appreciate, like I said, all your support. Everyone smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Thank you for sticking with us. This post-game edition of Jets vs. Seahawks. Let's see. Ari was toast. There's Najiba 25-yard plays killed us. Yeah, I spoke about that a bit earlier, towards the top of the show. Najiba is a great receiver. There were some plays, like I mentioned, where I thought the Jets could have had it. The secondary could have picked up a bit of a better read, and then there were some where it's like, all right, he's superhuman. He's gonna make those. He's such an explosive wide receiver in this league. Such an explosive wide receiver. We got a Seahawks fan in here. Seattle fan here. You guys played a good game. Appreciate you sticking with us, man. Appreciate you tuning into a Jets post-game show as a Seahawks fan. I'm going to have to disagree. The penalties. Overall, if you take away the penalties, I thought we played okay, but still 86 yards, 12 penalties. You can't take that away. You guys basically did whatever you wanted on us. Both sides of the football. Let's see. It was a crazy, crazy game. Like I've never seen anything like it before. Talk about a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, Mike. Let me pull up the exact quote here. Mark Sanchez said something hilarious. Adam Amon, the play-by-play broadcaster, called the game quote inebriated. But let's see. He said quote a lot of drunken activity out here as the game was about to enter the fourth quarter. I think that was a great way to put it. It was just such a, not necessarily a roller coaster. You just couldn't make that game up. Whether it was Niawanu with the forcing the fumble on the opening kick return, then taking the next special teams play to the house, Laviska Shenault muffing the first 3 kicks of the game, Anders Carlson recovering one of them. You simply couldn't make it up. This was just a crazy game for both sides of the football. You guys have good players. It's not just coaching. It's just coaching, excuse me. I completely agree with that statement. That's what I've been saying. This team's a collection of talent. The question is, when are they going to play like a team? And it's too late now. They're 3-9. Way too late now. It's a collection of talent, not a team. And I agree with the coaching, but still, it's a collection of talent, not a team. I knew that BS was going to happen, Oscar. Yes, you did call it. Season is over again. No playoffs for us, my man. Another season in my life, and 14 years now, my entire life, I've not seen a Jet playoff game. Insane. I thought this year was the point where I was so optimistic. I thought this team could have made a run at the Super Bowl, but that is clearly not the case. A collection of talent, not a team, like I mentioned just a little while ago. So sad. BC, appreciate it. I'm basically eliminating us, Oscar. Yeah. We're done. We're cooked. Even I had some optimism as we entered today, but now with a loss, we're cooked. Rover. Don't worry, Olbrich will take a hard look. Well, I have something that might kind of similar match what you said. Let's pull up this tweet from Connor Hughes I just saw a few minutes ago. On the, let me see. I can't find it, but he said something similar to his classic hard look. It was like, this is something like we didn't play our best today, or the defense was a little off. I think he said the defense was a little off. That's what it was. But I'm sure he'll take a hard look. Here's something interesting, though, I just found from Connor Hughes. Didn't completely rule out a quarterback change. Olbrich he didn't completely rule out a quarterback change. He was asked if he's making a change, and he said, quote, not as of today. Could you guys see Tyrod coming in? Do you guys want to see Tyrod? Would you rather see Rodgers or Tyrod the rest of the way? Submit your thoughts in the chat. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say regarding who's going to be the quarterback in your opinion for the rest of the way. Throw it in the chat. BC, appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you calling me a legend. Means a lot, man. Oscar, Caden, good to see you. I know, Caden. I know you were on my shows this week. You were rooting for a tank. Let's go, Jets loss. Didn't score any points in the first half. The first half was beautiful. I think that might have been the Jets' best 30 minutes of football. Like I said, good coach teams are going to go into halftime and make adjustments, and that's exactly what the Seahawks did. Exactly what the Seahawks did. If Morgan Moses wasn't injured. Yeah, Moses went down. I thought Carter Warren wasn't terrible, though. One of the first plays, he had a beautiful block. He did have a rough penalty, but other than that, he had a nice few great blocks, and he wasn't a complete liability. Sauce did okay, Caden. He got burned on one of those plays, but then he had a great pass breakup in the end zone. Beautiful on Metcalf. It was like a slant route, just a simple 2-yard slant. Gardner came in from behind and just batted it right out of his hands. BC sweet shovel pass for the touchdown, though. Yeah, that was a great play to Isaiah Davis. Isaiah Davis had an incredible game overall. He also had that 23-yard gain that put the Jets in position to get that 4th and 2. I need to see more of him the rest of the way. Honestly, with Breece's injury, again, I see your thoughts on the on Tyrod over Rodgers. You guys want to come in, submit your thoughts on all this? Click the pinned comment in the chat to do so. Also, submit your thoughts on, would you guys be okay if the Jets just simply shut Breece down the rest of the way and they decided to roll with the combination of Braylon, Isaiah Davis, and then activated Izzy Bonaconda? What would your thoughts be on this? See, Billy, appreciate tuning in. Connor, do you really want to analyze this? Spare yourself. Hey, you guys are the ones who support me, and I appreciate it. So I'm going to hop in on here every game, no matter what, the rest of the way, before and after every game, and then obviously during the week. So I appreciate you guys sticking with us despite this horrendous Jets play. David, didn't see the game, wanted to hear you analyze it. Great job, David. Appreciate you. Didn't miss much. It wasn't fun. It wasn't a very fun game. I'll tell you that, David. Billy, from 21-7 in the first quarter to 26-21 at the end. Stick around, and the Jets will beat themselves. Good teams make adjustments at halftime, and the Jets don't. I've never seen the Jets go into halftime and make a stout adjustment, especially coming from behind. But the Jets had the lead this time, and that was one of the things I mentioned as a key on my pregame show. Get ahead early. They did just that. It's just, you can't expect to win a football game, even if you're ahead 2 scores entering halftime. You can't win a football game by you just can't win a football game by scoring 0 points in the second half. That's not how it works. You can't do that. So you're not going to win any games. I love that Mark Sanchez was the one doing the call. Yeah, Sanchez had a great call. I forgot exactly what he said, but he had a great call last year when he called the Jets versus Eagles Week 5 game. Reese Connor, why did we lose? Please tell me. Well, Reese, it was a surplus of things. One thing I'm going to hone in on is letting the Seahawks do whatever they wanted on 3rd and 4th down, and also the penalties, 12 penalties, 86 yards. Same nonsense. Nothing new, so to speak, Reese. Seems like a discipline thing. Yeah, David, what else is new? This team is undisciplined, and they have been. This team, I think, expected Woody Johnson once they were going to fire Robert Saleh. All right, Ulrich's going to come in. Let's go. Here's a culture change. Jets have won 1 game under Jeff Ulbrich. A singular game against the Texans on Halloween. Now Ulbrich, every loss that he has is really just hurting his future as a coach, because especially when the defense continues to play like crap, nobody's going to want to take him in as a defensive coordinator. Why? Billy, we need a solid head coach with a staff to come in here and install a successful system. No more coordinators. I agree. I want a head coach with a proven track record, a Brian Flores, a Cliff Kingsbury. I think Rex is the head coach of this team. I'm not a fan of it. I think he is, though, next season. He's been a coach of this team before. Woody Johnson is a huge fan of him. But I need if Rex is going to come in and coach this team, I need them to have a very stout offensive coordinator. I don't trust him to be a head coach in this league. He couldn't run an offense in 2011. Well, he last coached in 2016, but that in the mid-2000s, he couldn't run an offense. Nothing tells me he's going to be able to run a modern-day offense, so I need him to bring in a really strong offensive staff. But yeah, I agree. I need a head coach with a proven track record. I like Ben Johnson, but I'd take a Vrabel over him just because experience in the actual position takes priority. So I think that said, my top options are John Gruden, the Cliff Kingsbury, Brian Flores, Mike Vrabel, one of those guys. Billy, we hire coordinators and they have to pull their coaches from off the line at Walmart. We need an established winning head coach and his whole staff, just like Parcells. I mean, Chris Sims, I start to see it more and more. Chris Sims compared Mike Vrabel to call him Bill Parcells Jr. Vrabel's my number one option right now, but I want an offensive guy. Vrabel's one of my only exceptions because he's a proven, and Flores because they're proven head coaches. But if we're going to take a flyer on a coordinator, it needs to be an offensive guy. But I need some. Again, if the Jets somehow took a flyer on a coordinator, it needs to be an offensive. It needs to be an offensive coordinator, but I want a head coach with experience. I think Cliff Kingsbury's a top option, guys. Let me know what you think because he has a ton of college experience working with quarterbacks. He was a head coach for 4 seasons with the Cardinals. Led him to an 11-6 season. Took him to the playoffs. He's only 9 games under 500 as a head coach. Like I said, 4 years as a head coach. Helped develop Kyler Murray. Now you look what he's doing with Jaden Daniels. He's been able to develop quarterbacks at a high level in his career as a head coach. He was a backup for the Jets, too, and he also interviewed for the Gase job in 2020. So there's that connection there between him and Woody as well. Reese, with this loss, I really think Woody pulled the trigger too soon with the Saleh firing. Reese, it was kind of in the middle of too soon and too late because if you were to fire him, if Woody – I guess the question I would ask Woody Johnson is, even if the Jets got off, you don't fire your head coach in the NFL despite a 2-3 start. If you're going to fire him, you have to fire him at the end of the prior season. They should have just fired him. If they were going to do this, I guess the question I would ask Woody Johnson is, what I would have been thinking is, if this coach starts 0-5, am I going to want to fire him? Worst case scenario, he starts 0-5. Am I going to want to fire him? If the question of that is yes, why not pull the trigger right away? Because that already shows you have such a short leash on the guy, and it wasn't even an 0-5 start. It was a 2-3 start to the season. Interim head coaches never work in this league. I'm not saying Saleh would have done much better, but I think the Jets would have had better chance to win these past few games if Saleh was the head coach. Should have fired him at the end of last season if they were going to pull the plug. Tyrod, there we go. I see people agreeing with me because I've seen people go out, and I've said Tyrod for the past few weeks now, but I've seen people say Rodgers, and I'm surprised. So yeah, Tyrod, there we go. Tyrod, there we go. Billy, a Hall of Fame quarterback who can't put up more than 200 yards a game and throws a critical game-losing pick 6. He's old. He can't move in the pocket. Like I said, the first half he looked rejuvenated. Looked like the bye week really helped him heal from that injury. It wasn't the case, though. The Jets simply can't play 60 minutes of football. They can play 30 minutes. We've seen them do it, but they can't play 60 minutes. Can't play 60 minutes. So, Rodgers, his age is starting to show. It really is. And it's sad because he's going to ruin his legacy. I'm telling you. He's going to ruin his legacy if he starts to stick around here for a year or two. If I'm him, I'm retiring for my health, and so I can kind of savor what's left of my legacy. Jet up Buttercup. No point in playing Tyrod. Then I just don't see the point in... What's the difference in starting Rodgers, really? Tyrod at least can give you something fun. He can't be worse than Rodgers. I'm telling you guys right now. Tyrod Taylor cannot be worse than what we've seen from Aaron Rodgers. So, why not take a flyer and hope he provides us some promising football? Worst case scenario, you can go right back to Rodgers. That's why I wish Jordan Travis was healthy. He was able to go these next few weeks. That would be great. We could shut Rodgers down, see what Travis could do the final games of the season. Reese, Connor, I don't see us winning any more games for the rest of the year. Do you agree? Not as of now. I said it after the what loss was it? The Patriots loss before the Halloween game. I didn't see them winning any more games. They end up getting one more. I can't pick them to win any right now, but it's the Jets, Reese. You know this. They're going to win games when it doesn't matter, and it's just going to hurt their draft position. They do it every single season. So, from like a paper standpoint, I don't think they deserve to be favored in any game moving forward, even if it's a home game. One game I could see them winning, though, is the Jacksonville game. They're a mess. It's the one game I'd maybe consider picking them in. But as of now, what tells me that the Jets deserve to be picking a game moving forward? Shut up, Buttercup. That last drive Seattle scored to seal the game is just an ultimate culmination of this season. That's a great way to put it, man. I mean, the way Quinnen Williams lined up in the Seahawks neutral zone, once Geno Smith had an unforced error and just lost the football trying to pump fake. Jamin Sherwood picks it up, took it into opposing territory. It was ruled a fumble on the field. The Jets had it, and then of course it was the offsides penalty on Quinnen Williams, and that's a great way to put it. A simulation, really, of the culmination, whatever you want to call it, of the Jets season. Of course, Reese, appreciate you tuning in. David, also seems like too many games this year. The halftime adjustment thing. Yep. That's what I've been saying. Can't make it. This team cannot make a halftime adjustment, and other teams will. We saw it in the Denver game. Sean Payton goes into the locker room, makes an adjustment. Jets lose 10-9. We've seen it every game this season, even the Vikings game. The Jets were just trailing, but the Vikings really turned it on in the second half. This game today, another perfect example. The Patriots game. You could point to so many games this season where this team has imploded in the second half. So many games, and it's the penalties, it's the defense, it's the same story. Nothing is new. JD, look at all the penalties after a bye week. The coaching staff on this team is horrible. The Jets struggle when they have more rest, Jay. And the coaching staff is terrible. Because the thing I like about Rex is, though, he's going to go in and he's going to discipline these guys. Jeff Ulbrich, it's the same thing. I forgot who it was, but someone, we'll take a hard look. I think, let me see who said that. Rover said that. Yeah, we're going to take a hard look. It's the same story every single week with Jeff Ulbrich. At least you put someone like Rex in, you bring him in as a head coach. He's going to hold these guys accountable. He's going to discipline them. I don't think there's any discipline on this team, and I think this coaching staff is not great. I think they're crawling their way to the finish line. I think the players want this season just to end. I think that's the way the players and the coaches are viewing it. Billy, I think the Jets are still 3-9 with Salah. I could see them. I could have seen them winning the Colts game. I think they would have won the Patriots game, and I think they might have won today. I think they're at least 2 wins better than they are. So what is that still? 5-7 at best. So even with Salah, you would have cracked out 2 more wins. Their playoff hopes would still be alive. I don't think it would have done wonders. I don't think the Jets would have won every game since the firing of Salah. But I think it hurt them more than it helped them. That's Salah to put it. I think that's the way I'm going to put it. Let's see. Whoa, before we get any forward, we have a tweet here from DJ Reed. Wow, this is going to be a huge fine. Wow. I'm going to pull this up all here on the screen. Let me see. Look at this. This is going to be a huge fine from DJ Reed. So sorry, I'm going to get back to your question here shortly, but this is going to be an absolute huge fine for DJ Reed. This is a tweet he just released. Is it deleted already? Here it is, 22 minutes ago. At NFL officiating, you effing suck. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. That is a tweet that Jets cornerback DJ Reed put out 22 minutes ago. And wow, all I have to say is that's going to be a lengthy fine. Something that caught my eye while scrolling there, so I wanted to pull it up. That's going to be a huge fine for Reed. Here we go. Tyrod's also watched. He hasn't stayed healthy throughout his career. He hasn't proven that he's able to stay healthy, but it can't hurt to put him out for, what do we have, 5 games now left in the season? It can't hurt to do that. It's not going to be any worse. Why not take a shot? Worst case, you go back to Rodgers. Billy, Tyrod is a solid game manager, and that might just be what the Jets need. Not flashy, but solid. I agree, Billy. He's a consistent quarterback in this league. The way I judge him, no, he has to start 6 games this season. I think he can lead us to 3-3. I agree. He's a solid game manager, and he's an average quarterback in this league. I really do believe. Guys older than me was drafted before Connor was born. Talking about Aaron Rodgers there. What about Hall? What about that Hall fumble that was crucial? Yeah, I talked about that a bit earlier, Jay. If you're tuning in here late, that was it the first one or the second one? The first one the Jets recovered. The second one the Seahawks. You're talking about the second one. It was a great run by Breece Hall. He found a gap right up the middle. He exploited it and lost the football. Hold on to the football, Breece Hall. That's 6 fumbles now for Hall this season. So inexcusable, really, from the what was he in his 3rd season now, the 3rd year back, who's trying to look for an extension sometime soon from the Jets. I know his knee was banged up. He was questionable entering today, and then he had to come out and at some point during today's game. So it wasn't great, but I think he just needs to move on. It didn't help that he wasn't healthy. I think a healthy Breece Hall, it's a different story. I still think the Jets should extend him, though. I'm a big fan of him. When all said and done, I think the Jets extend Jermaine, Breece, Garrett, and I think Sauce walks. I think that's what they do with that 2022 Superclass, so to speak. Reese, Connor, I love Rodgers. I know we lost, but we can't get rid of him. We can get rid of him after the season. I mean, do you think Tyrod would be any worse? Nothing tells me that Tyrod Taylor would be worse than what we've seen from Aaron Rodgers the past few games. Nothing indicates that to me. Can't hurt to put Tyrod Taylor in, and I think what they do with Rodgers is I think they cut him before June 1st. There's still dead cap money involved there, but I think what the Jets are going to do is they're going to eat all their dead cap money next year and just be in for a 4-1 season and try to go in a full rebuild mode, try to get something going in 2026. I think that's what the Jets are going to do. I can understand why some people want to see him the rest of the way. I think it gives them the best chance of getting a higher draft pick, but I don't know why what you can point to and say, okay, he deserves to be back for 2025. There's nothing there. See a few more questions here before you wrap about approaching the 50-minute mark. Appreciate all your support. Just hit 5 p.m. Let's see. Oscar, I haven't seen the Jets with a positive winning record yet. Hey, Oscar, we're in the same boat. I don't know if you're talking about your whole fandom of the Jets, but we're in the same boat. Best I've seen them go as a fan of the team was 10-7. I was not 10-7. I wish 7-10. 7-10 was the best I've seen them go the past 2 seasons. I was alive for the 2015 10-6 season where they missed the playoffs, but I wasn't watching football then. I was 4 when that happened. So the best I've seen them go as a fan watching avidly has been 7-10. Reese, every effing sport looks rigged. I don't know how to respond to that one there. Billy, more than likely, Rodgers is gone after the season, and Tyrod is our bridge quarterback, so we might as well give Tyrod some starts to see what we got with him. Yeah, I like that point there. I think I want Tyrod and Fields to battle it out. I'm not sold on the draft class from a quarterback standpoint in terms of if the Jets get like the 5th or 4th overall pick, just boom, taking one right away. Unless Cam or if it's not Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, I don't really particularly love the quarterback in this year's class, just from what I've seen. Again, I haven't gone too deep yet. It's just December 1st, so I'll get into that in the coming weeks. But from what I've seen, no one else other than Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders really, boom, catches my eye. So unless it's one of those guys as of now, I want Tyrod to be the bridge guy, and then I want to sign Justin Fields. Well, it wouldn't be really bridge then at that point. I want to see Fields and Taylor, battle it out for the QB1 job, and then have Travis as the third string, him taking a lot of the reps during camp in the preseason. JD, I'm worried about Tyrod being a bridge. I think he'll be injured by week 3, and we will be starting a rookie. I don't want them necessarily to draft a quarterback unless they absolutely love. If they love the guy, go ahead, pull the plug. But if they're a bit skeptical, I'd wait till next year's class. That's why you could bring in someone like Fields or a Jameis Winston. You could have them and Tyrod battle out for the job. Maybe Sam Darnold comes back. I don't think he will. I think it's either signing a Fields or a Jameis Winston. You have those one of those guys as well as Tyrod battle it out for the QB1 job, and then you have Travis as QB3. Let's see. Oscar, on a positive note, Connor, the guy who had the fumble and then scored a return TD, might have a nice diamond in the rough, though. We need that guy in more. Are you talking about, Niawanu? Yeah, so Owanu's now in his 4th NFL season. He's an all-pro returner. He has lightning speed. That's what he's been known for. Like I mentioned, I want to see him more moving forward now on all the special team snaps. One of the guys returning the kicks, and I want to see him taking over the punt return duties from Xavier Gibson. He's not brand new. He's been on the Jets practice squad since September, but this was his first game with the Jets. First game season with the Jets. Billy, well, we did draft Travis, and sooner or later we have to see what he's got. If he's not injured, he will probably be a 2nd-round pick. Yeah, I've been saying that now for the past few weeks. He would have been a 1st or 2nd-round guy. I think he's the 3rd string, though. Next season, he takes a lot of reps in the preseason, though. That's why, like I said, I just wish he was able to go these next few weeks. This would have been perfect. Then it would have been clear, I think, in most fans' eyes, that we just shut Rodgers down and have Travis go the remaining 5 games of the season. Oscar, I wonder which celebrities the Jets media team will invite to the game next week to see this get embarrassed in front of. See, we'll do one more. So, guys, I see Jet Up Buttercup. I'm about to get your question, but if you have any final questions, we're about to wrap up the show here, so get them in the chat. Smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Greatly appreciate all your support here on this post-game show following a disappointing loss. Too many things going wrong every week by every unit, regardless of Rodgers, who I'm not defending. It's tough to overcome the incompetent coaching and undisciplined. I agree with incompetent coaching and undisciplined. I think the bottom line is this team can't play complementary football. I think special teams is where I'm going to start. Special teams had a great overall day. Niawanu, kick return touchdown, forcing a fumble, and then Andrews Carlson recovering a forced a fumble that a kick that Laviska Shenault fumbled, and Carlson had the extra point block, but that wouldn't have really altered the game. So the special teams played really well today. Defense again struggled, and the offense played okay. We've seen so many games where the special teams either killed it, the defense has either killed the game, or the offense has either killed the game. Special teams with missed field goals, the defense imploding during crunch time, and then the offense similarly not being able to score points. We saw it. Well, they had a few missed field goals in Broncos Week 4 game when they lost 10-9, but the offense also couldn't do anything. So they simply can't play 60 minutes of football, period. But they can't play 30 minutes even of complimentary football, and that's what's killed them. Let's see. Oscar, in my opinion, draft Cam Ward, start Tyrod, then Travis. Can get some reps next year. It's not a popular take, but I can't lie. I like that thought. It's something I've been floating around where you start the rookie, you start Tyrod. But here's the thing. I think the Jets are going to probably get the 6th or 7th overall pick in this year's draft, and Cam Ward is not going to be there. Cam Ward, I think he'll either go 2nd or 3rd overall. Hunter's the clear-cut number one choice, and then Shedeur or Cam. Actually, it depends who gets the number 1 overall pick. Because if the Jaguars, they have the number 1 overall pick right now. If they stay there, they're not drafting another quarterback. But if it's the Raiders or Giants, one of the quarterback. Anyways. All 3 of those guys will be gone within the top 3. So if the Jets are in the top 3 and they don't trade, Jets aren't in the top 3 and they don't trade up, they won't have a shot at Cam Ward. But if they somehow pull that off, if they get in the top 3 or trade up and they get Cam, I like that thought a lot. BC, you're calling in the Jake Asman show today. You should. Yeah, I think Jake's going on at 5:30, right after he's done on ESPN New York. I'll pop in with Jake for sure. Call me crazy, Connor, but I don't blame Rodgers for all of our troubles. I think it's the GM, head coach, O-line, and then the QB. He needs a better supporting. Joe Douglas, while he was here, did everything he can to put this team in position to win. Bringing in Mike Williams, who was supposed to be a huge addition. He has Breece Hall, he has Garrett Wilson, he has Devontae Adams, Malachi Corley's been able to make plays. What do you mean by better supporting cast? What else could we really put there? I agree. Rodgers deserves blame. Rodgers deserves blame for this team's struggles, but not all the blame. I think a lot of it falls on the head coaching and the fact this team hasn't been able, you mentioned there, establish a successful, healthy offensive line the past few seasons. I think it goes, if I had to kind of rank those, I think it goes head coach, offensive line, quarterback, GM. I put the GM last there on those rankings just because I think Douglas did really everything he can to put this team in position to win, bringing in these big names. Oscar, I guess in terms of supporting cast, I mean GM and coaching here. Okay, so you didn't mean weapons. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page there. Yeah, I mean, he came in with Robert Saleh, who was a defensive-minded head coach. He brought Nathaniel Hackett in, who couldn't do anything. He basically got his way. He essentially got his way with everything, and he loved Saleh. And Oscar, if he didn't love Saleh, he would have been fired because Rodgers basically ran the show here for a year and a half. So if he didn't like Saleh, Saleh would have been fired a lot earlier than he did. Obviously, Saleh was fired following the Week 5 loss, but he would have been fired a lot earlier than that. I mean, he brought Hackett in. He did that. I don't think he had the best I agree. I don't think he had the best coaching tree overall, but he chose Hackett and he really liked Saleh. BC Riders one of only 7 QBs, so 40-plus touchdowns in multiple seasons. Brady, Mahomes, Manning, Breeze, Marino, Stafford. I think he hit that record a few years ago. Good for him, yeah. Well, again, a lot of that's from the Green Bay days. He hasn't had over 300-yard performance in now 34 games. A few more questions here. Billy, the only good thing this season is Olu, and our O-line seems to be competent, especially the young pieces. I think that's the biggest thing, Billy. This team has not been able to put together an established offensive line, but now next year, there's a possibility that this team has their whole offensive line in place, which would be beautiful. So Timmon at center, AVT, Simpson at guards. You re-sign Morgan Moses, and you have Fashanu at left tackle. That's ideally. That's the goal. If that's the offensive line, I think that's what you have to do. Let's see. Yeah, he had more enough weapons. LOL, no excuse there. Yeah, BC, 34 games without 300 yards. Crazy. Reese. Connor, if you were the owner of the Jets, what's your vision? My vision right now, Reese, if I'm Woody Johnson, I'll give you a whole run of things here. GM, I'm hiring John Dorsey, 56 and 55 in his career as a general manager. Drafted Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, Eric Fisher, Marcus Peters, Travis Kelce, Baker Mayfield, Denzel Ward. He's been a GM before. I'm hiring him. I'm hiring Mike Vrabel as head coach of the team. I trust Mike Vrabel to instill a strong offensive staff, and he's going to be able to help develop a quarterback. He's shown success as a head coach. Tennessee, 2-time head coach of the year. I'm eating all the dead cap money next year. I'm letting Devontae Adams walk. I'm letting Aaron Rodgers walk. I'm letting those two guys walk. Those are the two big names. I'm, like I said, entering full rebuild mode, eating all the 60 million, I think it is, in dead cap money. Get in for a 3-4 win season next year, then try to start fresh and make a push in 2026. I'm not drafting a quarterback this year. I have Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields battle it out for the QB1 job and have Travis sit back as the third string guy. So that's my overall vision, so to speak, if I was Woody Johnson, Reese. Hep, only thing of value left, highest possible pick. Again, I can't root for my team to lose, so if they lose, you can't, the outcome of the game is not always going to go the way you want it to, but the Jets have shown they'll always be able to mess up their draft position. So I know a lot of fans are rooting for a tank, and you can't blame them. But the Jets haven't been able to get the draft right either in past few years, especially drafting a quarterback. Oscar Rogers definitely isn't the leader I thought he was. He'll show spurts of leadership, but then he'll throw someone under the bus the next minute or take no accountability for a certain play. Not only the accountability, like I look at the frustration he has on his face. Well, we saw today several times they put the camera on him, almost as these overthrown balls aren't his fault, and he's blaming, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, whoever these guys are. Like, again, I agree. He has to take some sort of accountability. You can call him a veteran leader all you want. I'm not going to go as far as saying these, as like a Nick Wright, a Colin Cowherd, we're calling him a cancer, but I don't think he's taken as much accountability, really, as he should. I think Rodgers was someone who came in there and everyone was like, yeah, he's going to be this guy no matter, when we win by 30, we lose by 30. He's going to take accountability to everything, and he is going to own every single thing he's done. Has not been the case. And I agree. He's kind of thrown some people under the bus, whether it was he's done it to Salah a few times, done it to Ulbrich, he's done it to his receivers, did it to Mike Williams 2 weeks in a row. So when is he going to take accountability? That's a great question. Oscar, I wish you would talk to guys on the sideline more. Speaking of that, I completely agree. He always seems alone, but I have to pull up. I'm so sorry, I don't have it right here, but when Xavier Newman went down, I see it is an Instagram reel. Xavier Newman went down. He was on the stretcher. Literally, the whole team was all next to him on the stretcher. Rodgers was standing up with a towel wrapped around his neck, looking right at the midfield logo. Literally everyone, I think, except Thomas Hennessy and Thomas Morstead. And that's Rodgers' offensive lineman. I know it wasn't a starter, but still, you have to be over there with someone who's blocking for you, who had a very scary spine injury, who was on a stretcher with all of your other teammates. Have to be there. Jet up Buttercup, it's hard to explain this season. A curse might be the easiest explanation. There's no reason that you can look at me and say this team, if you told me the Jets were going to start off 3-9, I would have called you absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. There's a better chance they start off 9-3, in my opinion, I thought, than 3-9. Now it's going to be 14 years without the playoffs. The Namath curse is real, Jet up Buttercup. Namath curse is real. Let's see. Got a few more questions here before we wrap. Just hit the 1 hour mark. Appreciate you guys sticking with us. David, going to the game next week. Would love to just see Rodgers play towards the end of his career selfishly. I think you were trying to say, not selflessly. First off, have fun at the game. Hopefully the Jets give you a win. It would be cool, though, because that could possibly be Rodgers' last start of his career. So if he does start, we don't know. If he does start, it could be his last start of his career. So, David, I hope you have fun at the game. Oscar Connor, I hope you call into the Jake Show. I'm trying to. I'll try to call into Jake Show. I got to bang out a few articles for JetX on today's game. Then I will call in. I hate seeing us lose games like this, but it's so funny seeing him so mad at the Jets because it's so deserved. Hey, Jake ranting, the Jets deserved it. As he says, it's his favorite line. The Jets do not deserve this fan base, and he's completely right. Jake is always incredible stuff. Let's see. BC, who's going to the Rams game, I'll be there. Meet up. I'm not going to the Rams game, BC, but I'm sure there are a lot of Jet fans going there. I think that's the December 22nd game at home. It's on December 22nd, right before Christmas. So I'm sure there'll be a fair share of Jet fans there. But that'll do it for me. Appreciate you guys all sticking with us. Smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Over an hour here on this post-game show. Submit your final questions, thoughts, comments, whatever you guys want. You guys are some of the best listeners in the world. Appreciate you guys sticking with us. 153 of you all watching here as we just passed the 1 hour mark after yet another heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, disappointing, whatever you want to call it, 26-21 home loss. Seattle Seahawks fall to 3-9 on the season. Playoffs are unofficially out the window. But like I said, appreciate you sticking with us. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. That'll do it for me. Connor Long signing off following a heart-wrenching Jets 26-21 loss. We will see you next time. JTS, Jets, Jets, Jets.